We'll record from here on. Okay. So once this is all typed in, now notice the // are the comments. This is for C and C++. And the other types of comments are in this language. Both C and C++ are these. Okay. It's called a multi-line. This is the multi-line comment. So you can have multiple lines, and these are considered single line. So those are the comments. Okay. All right, everybody got it in?
My years of copy pasting of Stack Overflow has taught me to automatically ignore the comments. Do we need the comments?
I'm going to let your future employer beat that into you. There are some instructors that say, you have to comment your code. I am all over the map on that. It depends on your workflow where you are working. I had people, guest speakers say, never comment your code. Put it in the ticketing system. That's a whole different flow. We don't have a ticketing system.
So if I work at, let's just call this nail tag, do I put the comments in?
I don't care. The way I describe it is you are writing code for the next person. If something you're doing is tricky, obtuse, obscure, and just downright nasty and mean, you better comment it, because they will come down and hunt you down and, you know, rubber hose you, as they say. I had a system that was purchased and they implemented, and they fired it up, and it got about 30 pages of can't what? That was not a pretty picture. I found the programmer. What are you doing? He says, oh, that shouldn't happen. Well, it did happen. What happened? Then come to find out, they had snafu'd the install, and they neglected a whole procedure that created the tables and the database setup. So when it was trying to do its updates, there was nothing to update. It just said can't. Okay. Now, in C, we have this thing called stdio, and this is a dot include. This is more source code that gets compiled in with yours. Okay. So even though your code is this long, all this comes with it. Okay. And we start with an int main, and then we hit. This is a convention that you use a lot in systems programming, is you make sure you return a 0, which means all is good. If it doesn't return a 0, something's not right in Denmark, and you got to go fix it. And your curly braces. Okay. So now that it's saved, let's make sure it's saved. So you click on File, Save, and then notice how it says a few seconds ago. Now go back to your folder, new terminal, change directory to C++. Now, what was it? What's the command line for C again?
It's command.
Yeah, it's a GCC thing. So let's do this. I'm going to say cat, and it's called Hello World C. And I'm going to use this command called head -2 tail -1. There's the name of the file. And if I do this, leave it blank, it gives me the top 10 lines of the file. That's the command line I want. Okay. And I recommend, until you get this second nature, is to type it in, because it will make some imprints in the memory so you can remember how to do this. Okay. And then you give it the name of the file. You can use the tab key is expanding, so the tab key speeds things up for you. Bash supports it, so does Windows PowerShell, and -O for out, and I want to call it IW. And we're compiling it to the C99 standard. I was reading some of the stories about the standard on C99. The reason it stopped at C99 is that they couldn't get enough people on the standards committee to actually make improvements to the language. That has since changed. Once Rust came on the picture, I mean, all the standards bodies for C and C++ started getting more active and bringing in these really cool ideas that came out of Rust. So, for whatever it's worth, okay?
Are you saying there's a low-hanging achievement you can put on your resume, C standard body committee?
Are you saying there's a low hanging fruit where I can, Joe Nobody like me could get on the C standard committee?
Oh yeah, if you want to do that, go right ahead, but read the standards first, and then your brain will just fry. Because it's extremely low level, very obtuse. And it doesn't really apply to day-to-day programmers that just use the tool. For example, when you declare an array in standard C, it just allocates the memory. It does not zero it out. It's still full of junk. But in C++, there's a switch that says allocate and zero. So you know you're starting from a known quantity. Very difficult debugging problem is when you have an unknown quantity at the start of your program, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. Hence the debugger, and you have to go in and look and see what snafu. Okay. Now what I'm doing here is this GCC hello world is going to get compiled. It's going to output this to HIW, which is hi world, and using this standard, semicolon ./HIW. Semicolon is a way to put two commands on one line. Okay. And when I do a ./, it's going to run it. Ta-da! There's a lot to this that we're doing in a very fast manner, which is why I want you to type it in and do this on the command line. Because once you understand how this works, then using VS Code or the big fancy IDEs will make more sense. Because generally speaking, in our world, in school, you write source code and you compile your program. Well, in the real world, you write a module or a piece of a whole mess of other things, and you have this thing called a makefile that strings together all the previously compiled things, and then you create a new object file that has everybody else's work tied into it. And you really don't learn how to use make in school. Okay. That's one of those things you should learn in industry. I doubt anybody will teach you. They're just going to give you a book and say, figure it out, because it's kind of expected. Okay. So there's that one. Now what we want to do is this same thing for a very simple hello world in C++. Okay. All right, let's go here, and I'm going to say new text file. This time I'm going to rename it in the beginning. Hello world.cpp. Now you will see CPP, C++, whatever. You will see different extensions Just follow the convention that they tell you to, okay? Depending on your platform, they will tell you what to do, okay? All right, now I need to go to here. And this is C++. How many have had C++ in the 271? Okay, using namespace? Yeah, this is one of those religious issues. They will tell you, don't use namespace. Well, as a beginner programmer, you kind of want to use namespace because it cleans things up and it makes code easier to read. But once you get out there and you start messing around with things, you probably won't be using namespace, okay? You'll be leaving that line out and putting, this stands for standard library. This is your input output library, STDIO. That's what this is basically. So what you'd have to do is put in std : cout to be able to call that namespace, that piece of code out, cout object, if you want to call it that. Oh, there, okay. And I included the vector. You don't need the vector. This is all you really need. Okay. File save. Let you type that all in. Now notice here, C++, same idea, source code, output, warnings, and what standard I'm adhering to, but it says C++. Okay. And again, this will be something that is part of the tool chain they'll hand you. You can spend a lot of time just tracking the changes between C ++11 and C ++17. And then from 17 to, I think, 20. And I think the latest one is 22 or 21. Can't remember. But there's a lot of changes coming to the language of C++ because of what's happening in the world of Rust. Okay. And it's also a good way to find out if the language is staying active. If the language is staying active, that means there's people that care about it, and it will probably be continued to be used. I spent 10 years programming something. You may have heard of it? Didn't think so. It was actually the programming language, sort of basic, on a non-normalized first form database. It did its thing really well back in the day, but you can't even get a job for 25 bucks an hour. Nobody's running this stuff anymore. So you want to invest in a tool chain that's going to carry you to your retirement. Okay. Visual Basic 6, anyone? Yeah, no.
You remember that stack of DVDs I brought in?
You remember those stack of DVDs I brought in?
Yeah.
That was in one of the original releases.
Yeah, those are, yeah, that's and what you'll find, Google is notorious for this. They'll come out with a tool or something, and then they just walk away from it. And this happens in programming languages a lot too. Sometimes, oh, here's a really cool language. Nobody uses it. It becomes just an exercise. 99 bottles of beer.net. Go look at your 1,500 different programming languages. Find one, get good at it. Okay. All right. So I've saved this. Now, what do I need to do? Compile it, right? So what I want to do is take this line and I'm going to open, I can open another terminal. So let's do that. Change directory to C++. I have LR. You don't. That means it's an alias. ALIS. So that's what it is. So when I type in LR, that's what it's really typing in. Okay. Yeah, A's in there twice, shouldn't be, but that's okay. So I now want to compile the C++ one. So let's just go ahead and cat the hello world. C++. So that's what I want to type in. Okay. Now I can copy, cut, and paste and stuff, but I'm going to slow down a little bit so you can kind of follow along. And I call this one something else. I could also call it high W, but then what happens to the other one? I just toasted it. I did forget the wall. That doesn't mean wall. It means warnings. All. Give me all warnings. Okay. And I'll just hit enter. Now I'll run it. That was the same thing. So I have two separate compilers with two separate pieces of source code that creates identical output. Cool. What are the size differences? Let's find out. Here's the size. Not much different, huh? So they're pretty, but as you get bigger and bigger and bring in more libraries, your code gets bigger and bigger. We're only bringing in stdio, and here we're bringing in the standard library. We didn't bring in the vector. We didn't bring in all this other cool stuff. Okay. All right. So now let's do the same thing with our hex dump on this file and see what it says. Again, what's it start off with? It's the binary that I need to run Linux on x86-64 hardware. Okay. And we scroll down and it shows you what the shared library is. Some of the stuff that the shared libraries that get brought in. More stuff. And you will see that there's quite a bit of difference as far as what C++ does compared to C. Now, where's the hello world part? Did I miss that?
Use that. Broke, it's busted out. It's not the continued flow.
I don't know, but I can use this. Stream. Well, folks, that's assembler. This is the results of an assembler program. Okay. We're going to get to that too. Okay. So the command strings, oh, there it is just going through an object file and looking for anything that's human readable and displays. It's a great forensics tool when bad guys try to hide stuff. Okay. And it's showing you what the glib is, and you can find what else is in here. All kinds of fun stuff. So version 11, Ubuntu. All right.
Could you put alternate headers in there just to annoy people?
Oh, you can do all sorts of nefarious things. Yes. First thing you do is you compile it and then change the source code and don't recompile.
Oh, so you're saying open hex dump, change it, or EI, whatever?
Yeah, the Linux doesn't let you do that. Let me explain what I'm going to yammer about here. Using a hex editor, you go in there and you change a few things. It changes the checksum of the file. The kernel says, this is evil. I will not load. Windows, on the other hand, says, oh, fine, no problem. So you can take a hacked version of Notepad and put it on somebody's computer and infect their entire machine, and they never know it. On Linux, you take a hacked version of Vim, it just won't run. Okay? Because all those checksums are built through this command called file. File uses something called a magic number, and it tells you what's going on. Okay? So that's more information you want to know, but so watch what questions you ask. Okay, so that's the goal for today. Getting 2 pieces of source code compiled, command line, and running. Pretty straightforward, isn't it? And you understanding this process. You also know the difference between compiled and interpreted now. Okay, so you know a very specific, you can actually explain that to somebody in a job interview. What's the difference between a compiled and an interpreted language? Yes.
The other one, the dude, I tried to jump ahead. Can you go?
I tried to jump ahead, and you also asked me what's the difference between a strong type, weak type.
Oh.
That's all that stuff.
Yeah, that's outside the scope of this class. But a long story short is in C and C++, you cannot use a variable unless you declare it first. That's called static typing. It reduces bugs. JavaScript, on the other hand, will let you declare something in the middle of nothing. And this is a true statement in JavaScript. You're going to love this. Oops. Just one right. Double quote, the number 1 is equal to. Is this true or false?
I think it was true.
I have a text numeric 1, like in your social security number, and I have a numeric number 1, like when you're doing it in math. Is that considered the same? Not in any other programming language, but JavaScript says this is okay. I can make a text value of numbers equal real numbers. You think that might cause some weird bugs? Yeah. You know how they fixed it? Now, that's false. JavaScript, there's some really ugly parts, but there's some really good parts to JavaScript. If you're going to use a lot of JavaScript, just do what Microsoft does, use TypeScript. TypeScript puts a bunch of static typing on top of the syntax, and it makes it much easier to debug because you don't get these weird errors. Okay. All right. And that made my head scratch for days when I was playing with JavaScript. And ow, this could be a lot of problems because in the early days of JavaScript, you can do stuff and you get an error and you wouldn't see an error. You just got a blank page. That was it. You had no way of knowing what went wrong. Yeah. Yeah. Debugging in JavaScript has just gotten a lot better. Okay. All right. So you now have 2 new pieces of code that you wrote and you compiled it. Okay. Now what we'll do next Thursday is we will start jumping into the debugger and we'll see how to poke around on our object code in the debugger. Okay. Because that's, if that could, you could walk out of this class being good at something, it would be the debugger, because the process of learning how to debug and setting breakpoints, you will use in any programming language. The techniques may be different, but troubleshooting has gotten to be a lot more difficult. Anybody played with Node.js? Yeah, nice stuff. React, great. You got layers on top of layers on top of layers on top of layers on top of layers. And what happens when something breaks right here? Oh crap, where's the log file? What log file? Oh, we didn't put any log files in that code. Which code? Oh, this one right there. Oh, that's not the one I'm talking about. This is what ends up happening is you have this layer going to one set of logs, this layer going to another set of logs, this layer going to another set of logs, and you have to weed through all those to find out where your error really is. Okay. And it's still troubleshooting, and it's still, you can use debuggers and you can use the development tools that are inside Google Chrome. Microsoft uses them. They just copied them. So does Firefox. So does Brave. They took the developer tools from Chrome and everybody else is using it because it's some good stuff. Anybody played with that? They've never played with it? Yeah, inside Chrome, developer tools. Go watch some videos. It's pretty darn awesome of what you can do with it. Yeah, because it will show you how fast your page loads, where your loads are slow, and why. It's very, very informative for web development stuff. Okay. But we're not doing that. All right. Now, let's look at this. I try to open my object. This is what it looks like. Okay. Now, let's do this. Remember that command that cat? What's going to happen? Anybody try to look at your Word file or your Word executable or Excel, the .exe, and see what's inside it? There you go. Bunch of noise. And it may mess up your screen. If it does, type in STTY saying, and that will bring your terminal session back. Let's go back to early 80s. It still works. Okay. All right. All right. Now, while we're here, let's do this. Did everybody get this done? Everybody feels all right, because this is the homework assignment, and you're basically doing this, you're getting it working. Okay. So a lot of my homework assignments for this class are like this. If they're not individually hard, but they're individual Lego blocks that you need at the foundation to build on as you move throughout your career. Okay. Let me do one thing first. No, I'll do that later. There is a command called BC. This has been around for a very long time. And it is a basically basic calculator. It lets you do algebraic notation. A equals 5, B equals 8, and I want to say C is equal A raised to B. And then if I put in C, there's my number. This is all base 10. Anybody want to try some binary?
Yeah, let's see, that's how it works.
We can do binary. Ones and zeros. And this is how it works. You use I base equals 2. And then O base is equal to 2. In and out. So I can make I base 2, O base 10. I base 2, O base 16. So I can move between bases. We are going to learn how to do binary math. But we're going to start by cheating and using a calculator. Okay. This is what we'll be playing with on Tuesday. We'll be doing this in hex and we'll be doing this in binary. Okay. So this is just a quick thing. You can find PC calculators. I'm sure you can find it for DOS somewhere. Anyway, so now if I say 1001 plus 0011, okay. Before I hit enter, what should the answer be? Tell me.
I would be the answer to, or 1 0 0 0.
Hold on that thought. We'll see. This is one of those things that's called diligent practice.
Like a Rickle.
I want the job that helps me find my passion in life. That's very bad advice. You have to get skilled and get really good. Then the passion follows.
Is Jack the Man alias to something that opens the Rick Astley song?
No, this is nothing fancy. But I do want to bring that out before I leave tonight. There's a couple of buzz lines I want to read out of this. About Steve Martin said, you know, people always ask him, how do I get into comedy? And he gives the same piece of advice. Just get so good they can't ignore you. And there's a book called by the same title, written by Cal Newport, who's a PhD computer science guy. And he's written several books. This is one of his older ones, 2012. And what makes this book really interesting is he did a talk at Google about this diligent practice. He said, if you spend maybe 5-10 hours a week doing diligent practice in the programming tool of your choice, it won't be long before you are the expert, because none of your peers are doing that. How many study this stuff between now and over the weekend? Well, that's what separates those that get the jobs and those that may not really have a fun job. They get to do all the maintenance coding and fix other people's crap. They don't get to do greenfield. They only do brownfield. Okay. Something to be said about diligent practice. Diligent practice is hard. It's painful. And it's, you know, it's people don't like doing it. Okay. So we're going to add these two. And I'll just hit enter and give you the answer. Now, how did that work? We have 1001 and 1 and 1 is 2, right? Well, I can't write down 2. So what do I have to do? Well, I have to carry. And now I have to carry again. This is what we'll be doing. We'll be doing this mostly in binary because the learning how to do binary math like this, it's not hard. It's just kind of breaks your brain a little bit. But seeing how 2's complement works and then seeing how you can just shift things over, boom. This is why every calculator that has ever been invented has a square root function. Because it's really, really easy to get a square root in binary. Shift, boom. So it's easy to create a square root using, that's why they were on the cheap calculators, even the old ones. 4 functions and square root. Because it was easy to implement in discrete math. This is discrete structures, discrete math. This is why computers will never take us over, because they are stuck between 1s and 0s. Now, if we ever get off von Neumann architecture and move to something that has a maybe in it, like human behavior, well, that's a different story. Because software tries to fix human problems. Human problems don't follow 1s and 0s. You can get an approximation. Okay. This is why software will never be complete, because it's impossible to fill in all those gaps. Okay. Bigger machines, faster machines. Okay. All right, we'll do some subtraction. We'll have some fun with that on it, but I want to mention this and then we'll call it a day. All right. I'm going to take a few things here. The passioned mindset, which is probably what every counselor will tell you, because that seems to be the rage of late. Find your passion and go find a job. Well, it doesn't really work that way. There may be people that are out there like that, but it's also extremely hard to prove. Find people who are really, really happy in their work. Find out how they got there. They didn't follow their passion. In my case, it's just dumb luck. I like what I do now, but it's dumb luck how I got here, right? The passion mindset focuses on what the world can offer you, where the craftsman mindset focuses on what you can offer the world. So be a craftsman. And there's something liberating about the craftsman mindset. It asks you to leave behind self-centered concerns about whether your job is just right. And instead, put your head down and plug away at getting really damn good. What's it take to be a good programmer? Practice. Genius? No. Practice. Okay. I say that in all my classes. And I am not a trumpet player anymore. Why? Well, when I was in school, I played trumpet and I played the stuff that I like to play. The fun stuff, the flashy stuff. I didn't work on the hard stuff. I didn't do diligent practice. And after about 2.5, 3 years of being a trumpet major, sort of, the professor looks me in the eye and says, "Dale, you might want to think about another major." I was crushed. But guess what? He was right. I didn't put the right kind of time into the woodshed to get the next level. That's what you have to do in programming. What is it going to take for you to get to the next level? And no, I am not going to spoon feed you. Your boss is not going to spoon feed you. Nobody is going to help you through this. You just have to go practice. like Seth Curry and his 3-pointers. How long does he do that? For hours, right? Yeah, that's what it takes. Okay. All right. That's just so look up So Good They Can't Ignore You. He's got talks all over the place. And there's a couple other fun little blips in here. I think this is a good one. This is what Steve Martin finally said to Cal Newport about this. He says, eventually you are so experienced that there's a confidence that comes out. I think it's something the audience understands, and he uses the term smells, so they know if you are practicing or not. Be so good they can't ignore you. That's pretty simple advice, but it's not advice that you hear. What's it take to get good? Practice. All right. Enough for philosophizing. Okay. All right. On that note, I'm done for the moment. So if you want to hang around and play with this stuff, this is where we'll pick up on Tuesday.
You said this is homework, how do we turn it in?
Just take a PDF of it. Because in the I don't know if it's going to work, but it should. You can download the source code. Let's see here. They're used. Yeah, I think some of those things broke. The Jupyter Hub allows you to download a PDF, but a lot of that infrastructure got hosed when the network went down because there was a lot of dependencies. So I'm still bringing the machine back up to where it was. So just do a PDF, and on your machines in front of you, you have LibreOffice, and there's a little export button right at the top. It says blip, export as PDF, and then just upload that. And I'll show you what the assignment looks like. So we did our homework in the classroom. Don't you love that? Now, technically, you don't have to think about this class until Tuesday. But what's it take to be good? Some practice. Yeah. Open the book. And I've got several books. I'll point those out on Tuesday. So we have this one, Homework Lab 0. Create a hello program in both C and C++. Goal, how to use the CLI. That's what it stands for. Command line interface. For G++ and C. You know the difference of compiled interpreter now. Okay. That's what we start in the class, and upload a PDF of your source code. You can put it in the same file. I don't care. Okay. Now, for those of you on Windows and you got Visual Studio Code, make this work on your Windows machine. Don't ask me. I don't know how to set it up. Okay.
You set it up, the VS Code.
Yeah.
And it will either use MSVC or will use MinGW.
Yeah, because I'm not sure what compiler it comes with, but it should compile the C++ code.
If you're using what is it? I don't know what they call it.
Windows subsystem for Linux.
It will use MinGW or Ubuntu GCC. But
Ah.
if you're using Windows directly, it'll use MSVC. Oh, is it the acronym messed up?
Oh, okay. Yeah, because the Windows subsystem for Linux, I've played with quite a bit. If you're going to waste that much time, just run a VM. That's the way I'll say it. Just run a VM. Makes your life much easier. And then our next coding, which will be next Thursday, will be the GDB. And we'll have some fun with the GDB and I'll give you some assembler code and we'll actually learn how to assemble the code into object.
So on that homework assignment, you're just expecting a PDF, not the source code?
What does it say? Upload a PDF of your source code.
That's why I'm asking you to double check. For some reason, I was under the impression you were.
Well, the reason I asked for PDF is Canvas plays well with PDF. Canvas sucks with Word documents and text documents. And you cannot upload Java source script into Canvas. It will munge it to death and it won't even be close to what is you submitted. Because you can write nefarious code. Imagine what damage you could do if you were allowed to upload live JavaScript code into a website. Come on. That's just a security hole waiting to happen, right? So the PDFs make it easy to upload source code without Canvas going out to lunch. Okay. And I do hope by the end of the semester, the Jeremy box will be back online and you'll be able to get to it from home.
I was able to reach it. I couldn't copy it tonight, but I was able to reach it from outside.
Pardon?
I was able to reach the Jeremy box from outside.
You were?
SSH, yeah.
Oh, with SSH?
Yeah, just with JMKLL.org.
Yeah, ORG. And you got the sign-in form?
Yeah. Yeah, I was asking for password.
And then the IP address should be
So
like,
did you change your notes?
I haven't changed.
Because it the signature changed.
Oh, yeah, signature changed a bunch. The Jeremy box, the external IP address is 189.14.127. This originally was the only IP address tied to the Jeremy box. Then what they did is they rolled out a new firewall and they basically took the Jeremy box and put it behind the firewall and they leased out a DHCP address. So there's a one-to-one connection to this. So if you are actually connected to the box, the name on the box that you're using is probably Lab 0.
So on here, local network, I was able to see that it's Lab 0.
Yeah, that's
and that's on the 11.
right. That machine is close to being provisioned, but it's not. That's my next Jeremy box.
Let me
And then 12 is what the box is that you're connected to now.
let me see here. You connected
So the 11.
Lab 0.
So it did pull 11 then.
Yeah.
So labs. Well, maybe I'll provision the new box faster than I thought. Because it's got 4 terabytes of RAM. That's gonna be some serious VMs. They'll be able to run all kinds of stuff on
Yeah,
that.
Apache 2.4.52 on server at lab0.kll.org. Working.
All right, so I wonder if I can rename it. And if I bounce it, I wonder if it'll keep 11, lose it again.
I had to just by chance saw that because I had to actually go to SSH into another box that I have to
Yeah.
access.
Yes.
Because the network really does not want to route me into the subnet.
No, it's gonna take you to the internal IP. And that's
Well,
what.
no, it won't. It does not respond because I'm on a different subnet.
Oh,
And I'm like trying to add the route and it's
And also DNS doesn't work.
yeah.
DNS does not resolve, when you come in on wireless, DNS doesn't resolve for anything.
No,
I was like, what?
right, yeah, I was digging and everything.
Yeah, you can't, it's, yeah, I know, there's. I am the exception to the rule. And they are trying to roll out multi-factor MFA. Yeah, so I'm on the back burner, but if we can. If I reboot this machine and it keeps 11, then I can provision this box. I'll just recreate all your users on the new block and then. Move your stuff over.
Yeah, well, then they should just add this to your activity week. Yes.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah. It's yeah, it's the problem. It's it keeps my skills sharp, but sometimes I'm thinking, well, maybe I really shouldn't be doing somebody else's job. But that's okay.
Well, then sometimes you're just like,
Should I be doing this?
Is this okay?
Yeah.
Like, I have to go around the school.
Yeah, last semester in the final projects class, I was showing people how to use auto SSH and use jump hosts. And I think that's part of why we lost a bunch of stuff here is that students, it wasn't malicious. I'm sure they just mumbled something up.
Yeah.
Is that, you can really mess up a network, yeah, so.
I had to set up somebody that I had met that and they're like, oh, come, well, we need to talk about something, come to, this IRC. Then they're like, oh, no, we're actually connecting before. I'm like, I don't want to do that. I had to set up my bouncer to connect through Tor.
Okay. Yeah.
This is terrible. At least it doesn't take forever now to log into it.
Yeah.
On your local machines, start Tor.
Yeah,
And, like turn on that. Then
yeah,
route through your.
yeah. Did you get down to DEF CON?
Yeah.
How was it?
I pet the bomb dog. No, we got evacuated.
What?
Yeah, so there was a suspicious packet.
Oh,
I
no.
was walking with my friend we were gonna pick some people up to go to a veteran party. So my friend's a veteran, and we started, all the goons were saying, get out, you have to go that way. Some package was sitting somewhere and somebody called in Caesar Security and then Caesar Security called the bomb squad.
And, oh, boy. Yeah.
But it was good.
Yeah, next year I wanna get down there, because that's when they're gonna have some of the AI competitions.
Oh, yeah,
That's gonna be fun.
Pakistan.
That's gonna be.
Just wanna make sure.
If you take this to DEFCON next year, you'll
Oh.
get this year's. This is this year's badge. but,
This is this year's badge?
Yeah, but they ran out of the real badges, so
Oh.
this is, yeah, but they promised next year, anybody who gives one of those gets,
You get a badge.
yeah, you get the last year's badge.
You don't.
Oh.
Awesome.
And they were just giving out
No,
the
just.
leftovers of those at the end, so I have a couple of them.
Oh, good, yeah, I'll keep this, because I wanna make it down there next year.
Yeah.
It's the stuff that happens. It's like, wow, it's come a long way in 1 year, and you look at the stuff, like
Well, I mean,
the car hacking, it's like.
when the people are just like, I'm going to dinner with like the CTO of Replicant, like, it is fun. But,
Yeah.
and you're just like, I wanna get over to the DC group in Bay Area's DC 5.0. I actually have a picture with them at their party.
Yeah.
But, they're really hard to get a hold of.
Yeah.
And they have an East Bay, DC group, but they meet in San Francisco.
Yeah,
Like, why?
yeah.
Yeah, and like some of their major members don't live there anymore. They live in Portland, so they're part of the Portland crew.
Yeah.
But there was definitely, it was really crowded this year. That's why they ran out of badges, is because so many people were coming from Black Hat. They were going to DEFCON. Yeah, and usually it's kind of mutually exclusive,
Yeah,
except for the people who like present at Black Hat.
yeah.
But there's just a lot of that. There was a
Well,
lot more federal.
the money to send people like that, because that's.
Yeah,
important.
yeah.
It's security and things.
And there's a lot more like CTFs that people are participating in. Just, it's not just the main CTF. We had Pakistan was hosted here this year. It was the first time. And I mean, they had an actual satellite set up the space. Yeah, yeah,
Let's go hack a satellite.
it was crazy.
Thank you very much. Oh, you bet.
No,
You bet.
next year, a couple of my friends and I we're all gonna wear cowboy hats here.
All right.
Is the keyboard cowboys.
Perfect. You gotta get the boots to go with it.
Yeah, so I hear you're the new advisor for the computer science. club.
Yeah. Yeah. So they're trying to decide on what day to meet.
Yeah.
I try to do Thursday sometimes.
Okay.
I'm on campus Tuesday and Thursday, but Tuesday night. So later. So we'll do it on a Thursday. I'd like to see it. I don't know. It's demographic. If people are working, then they.
Oh, yeah, no, thank you.
I can ask, so we have a Discord.
Oh, good.
Yeah, and like, it'd probably be good to have maybe a Slack, or maybe get the other
Yeah.
people in there to go do the Slack.
Yeah.
Get on there so the community use here, right?
Yeah.
I'm planning on possibly being the treasurer this time around. Last time I was just kind of ceremonial. I was trying to get people to join the club.
Yeah.
But we actually want to do something.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And we have resources. I
mhm.
found 19 decommissioned Dell Power Ed are 620. They don't have a lot of.
Yeah, but
But
if
they're
you link them all
2017.
together, if you link them together,
Yeah, they're 2017, but I have it just a box.
yeah.
No.
Like how much? Like 2?
These, well, the one I just provisioned got 8 gig.
Oh, okay, see, I mean, but I do plenty, on Blue, on my droplets, like I run a Minecraft server and my, what's it called, my bouncer on a 2 gigabyte RAM
Yeah.
machine, and then I link
Yeah.
that to my other stuff
If you
that's on
if
another
you
2
keep doing out
gigabyte.
of it, you can get a lot done.
Right, and then
Yeah.
you use Apache to route it to
Yeah.
the other things on your network, So
Yeah.
you could do a lot with machines.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to use Nginx as a
Oh, yeah,
reverse
Nginx,
proxy.
yeah. That's
So
that's
when you hit 443, it takes you to the 2. Right now I've got bounds. And it works, but then when I want to say go visit 480 to visit the vanity plate,
Mhm.
it routes to 443 because of the way the service,
Yeah.
the forwarding. So I go, yeah, well, one of these things I need to.
You maybe use a different port.
I just need to figure, Jupyter Hub defaults on 8,000.
8,000.
And they won't let traffic or in on 8,000.
I know,
So
I did see it was filtered because I did an nmap -- forwarding, and only port 80 and 443 and 22 were.
That's right, because all my Linos were on a different port.
Mhm.
I couldn't get to them. But like, they on the way out, they're only gonna let 22 be, that's it. So I had to change my Linux to 22. Yeah, they're really tightening it down. For what reason? I don't know. But, yeah.
Next day, I will be able to.
I'll be as as I can.
Is the link up?
Yeah, it's basically my office phone number. And that's the meeting ID, and I've been using the same ones. And yeah, I'll be doing that too. Let's say. But yeah, they'll be on YouTube.
Not a question, I'm not sure if you're in.
Okay, yeah, so is he.
I'm not sure if you talk, May.
I remember May.
Yeah, I think Jay May. Hey,
Yeah, because Ben came by and asked about what times would be.
Yeah. I think, there was like this server, I was like, May told me to join.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, so what is it, like, am I supposed to like apply for something or?
No. When we meet next, I believe you'll take down like your name and email and stuff.
Okay.
Because I believe you have to read all of our stuff that we voted in before, but
Okay.
it's not
Yeah,
a big.
one of the forms is here, my community ally, and there's a way to sign up.
Oh, yeah, I will.
Yeah, I don't know if that works.
there is.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Somebody, we collaborated with, another, they were just a group that was doing, something for a different thing. And they put a link to your, like, sign up.
Oh,
there.
okay, yeah, because he was saying that it's website's already active. He's helping out.
Yeah, so it is, I don't know much about that because.
Yeah, I say, yeah, I'll sign up for it, but who's gonna read it? That's the question.
Yeah.
Tell them specifically what to do.
Yeah.
Because that's the computer club has done this over the years. And the advisors get involved and then you graduate and we go away. It's just, that's just kind of the nature of the beast. People get other things and they forget. Other people are coming out. It's a 2-year school.
I plan
This is how you get it out pretty quick.
Yeah, I have to find somebody to take over the role of the.
Yeah, they're, oh, yeah. Good for you.
And sign up through them because they'll get in if I recommend them. Because they want somebody to replace the former person after they graduate. from
Right,
School, so
right.
it stays in.
Have you been doing much presentation when you get done stuff?
No, not really. That's weird. We have a Discord that we also that everything's Discord, right? But we meet up every once in a while and Zoom and talk. There was one time when somebody's event was they needed help with it, but it didn't work out.
Yeah, but I haven't been pitching. How do you get all the instructor? I mean, you gotta know how to do this.
Yeah, go to Dev 209,
Dev 209.
and I believe I have a link that has a primer. .com.
.com.
Yeah, .com. So I don't, it's the second link there on Google though.
Oh,
Right now, yeah.
oh, cool.
So get primer with no Zoom knowledge.
Oh, awesome. Very nice. Yeah, let's see if I can find that. Community ally. Yeah, and campus and club life. And then down.
Oh, really?
Oh, here it is. And then this sign up. I don't know what this does.
Yeah, well, let's see, click on it. Okay, it's probably, it looks like it's a. Wow, that's a.
This is a third party that they.
Yeah, that's a lot of stuff. No one's gonna read that. And it's just cookies, isn't it?
This makes some data scientist happy.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure they
I
didn't
would-
write this.
I always accept them anyway, but then my blockers blocks the things.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, oh my God,
but yeah, I think.
that's a lot of stuff.
All right, have a good night, everyone.
All right, take it easy.
All right, see you Tuesday.
So,
I don't know about this, but if you show up to our meeting whenever that does happen, we're really
Do you
trying to
guys know
figure
when
out.
the next?
That's what we're trying to figure out right now.
yeah,
Are you figuring it out on Discord or no?
Oh, we could figure it out on Discord, but then we gotta communicate with our advisor here.
yeah, it's like, I'll join Discord. No big deal. You just tell me what to do, join.
Hold on, I wonder if my QR code still works.
Yeah, because you can, there's other instructors that actually use Discord for the classroom.
It's really useful, man.
Yeah, and I go, well, Slack is what you're gonna use in business, so that's kind of why I use Slack. And then I create a new workspace. Once a year.
We'll
So,
see if the error correction lives up. It's got a little scratch.
oh, okay. We'll see. This is not a computer chip. It's a computer club chip.
Yeah.
I love it.
And I don't know if that still links to the, I think I just have a redirect on there.
Yeah, I don't know if it's gonna. I don't think it's gonna read it.
I'll send you a link at the,
You can send to me an email.
I can send it to email, yeah.
Yeah, Phillips D.
Yep.
Yosemite or MJC. That's pretty cool. Looks like a poker chip.
I bought 100 of these last year and I put them around in school.
Oh, fun.
Yeah. I always like when somebody gives me a chunk, like so.
Yeah.
Like
It's kind of fun.
so somebody can keep it and it has the benefit of when it wasn't
Yeah.
scratched up.
Yeah,
Taking you to the Discord.
that's pretty cool. Cool. At least you can say, yeah, I was in Vegas and I won a bunch of chips.
But they hand out chips that you can use at the bar. It's a
Oh, that's good.
little like goon.
Oh, yeah, the goon chips. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, no, other than that, I think I saw somebody came and presented today, for, it was a new thing at the UCs too, called Mesa, and they want to collaborate with clubs, so I was gonna bring that up to the club too. They
Okay.
might take us, be able to take us on like field trips.
Oh,
Yeah,
that'd be fun.
because those are expensive.
Yeah, I had some of my former students ended up in some of the other UCs, and the lab we got here is better than what they have at some of the.
It
We
is.
have a really pretty good lab.
Yeah, and that's like why I want to advocate for that to be used more, like we got,
Yeah, there's so much potential, but there's just one me,
yeah,
and it's like I need another 2 people to help me get this thing provisioned. Because imagine what it'd be like to have your own Linode, and you
have it
and here's your virtual machine for the whole time you're in school.
because they have it as long as you have the rack to put it somewhere.
Yeah.
You can do that.
And then I know we have a huge block of external IP addresses that are never going to get used. And it's like,
Well, yeah, because we have a backbone.
yeah, it's huge. Yeah, we got one very large backbone.
I remember reading the documents on it. I was just perusing the internet looking for
Yeah.
documents on.
What's the name of the company that does the networking for all the schools?
It's been a while. Let's see.
Oh, I can't remember the name of it, but man, they got some fat pipes all over the state for all the schools. What a dream job to be in.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
we need to take a little offshoot and kind of take it over here to this house where I happen to live.
Hey, I've known some people that work in level 3 and stuff.
Oh,
Sometimes
yeah.
they do that. Sometimes they do that.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, it's like we're gonna help you out here. Yeah.
Mostly it's because they don't want to use their company's laptop.
Yeah,
Like,
where they have the little mouse jigglers to make sure that so they don't.
yeah, because their company's asking them to do all of their work through a Windows box through WSL when they need 6 screens and
Yeah.
they need they need to be on